So I'm really glad that I ran into you. What you're offering, I really think that we can do business together. I'm really impressed with what I'm seeing. So I need to take your information, go talk to the guys, but I think that we can do business together. Here, let me grab your card. So, like I say, I'm gonna go talk to the people that I need to talk to. So what am I gonna show them? Let's see here. You don't have a website? Oh, I was hoping to show them your website, show them some examples of what you've done. No website, huh? Well, I'll take your paperwork back to them. I mean, shouldn't be a big problem. Once we have everything sorted out, what we're looking for, let's see, do you have your email on here? Yeah, AOL.com. Really? AOL. Oh, I'm sorry. Talking to you, with what we do, we need to work with a real business. I thought you were a real business. So, wow. Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but like I say, when I talk to the people, I mean, AOL.com, huh? Well, I'll take your information back to them, and yeah, we'll see if we're interested. I know what you're thinking. You saw that little opening bit and you go, Eli, you are exaggerating. You're funny. I know I should have a website and all that, but it's not that bad. Let me tell you, as a modern professional, it is that bad. If you do not have a website, if your email address does not have your domain name behind it, you are losing money. You are losing sales. Very simply, it's just costing you. Every modern business that's worth anything has a website and it has a domain name. When you email people, it goes to @whatever the domain name is, and everybody's happy. Having those little things really sets you apart in the world and says that you're a real business. So even if you're a one-man shop, still get your own domain name and put up a little website, and people will treat you better than if you use gmail.com or hotmail.com or any of that. It simply makes people feel better. When they see that I'm Eli at elithecomputerguy.com, they think I'm more professional. We know different, but they think it's better. So today we're going to talk about getting you and your business onto the internet. How to get a website, how to get a domain name, and how to get an email service. Now, as we talk over things today, these three things are actually different components that you can buy separately. A domain name is separate than your web hosting, your website, which is separate than the email service that you use. Today we're going to simplify it. Whenever you go to either GoDaddy.com or oneandone.com, providers of domain names, website hosting, or email services, you can buy everything as a single package. And if you were viewing this video, I would suggest you buy everything as a single package. But you should know that in the future, you can divide those three things out to different providers. So one company can give you your domain name, one company can give you your website hosting, and one company can give you your email service. Today, we'll keep it simple. Just go for one company to do everything for you. So today we're going to be talking about how to get yourself a domain name, how to get yourself website hosting, and how to get yourself email service. Well, the first place to start is your domain name. So my domain name is elithecomputerguy.com. CNN's domain name is cnn.com. So if you go to CNN's website, you go to www.cnn.com and you get their website. If you need to get me, email me, you go to Eli at elithecomputerguy.com and you email me. So the first thing that you need is your domain name. In order to get a domain name, I would suggest again that you go to either www.godaddy.com or www.oneand1.com. Those are, use the numbers, don't spell it out. So oneand1.com. When you get to the first page there'll be a little box that says buy a domain name, and you'll be able to plug in whatever you want, and you hit submit and it will see if it's available. So when you buy a domain name, you lease it. You don't buy it forever. You only lease it for a short period of time. So you plug the name in and then you see if it's available. Now, the suffix, that says .com, so EliTheComputerGuy.com or EliTheComputerGuy.biz. There's something that's very important. There are a lot of these suffixes out there. There's .com, .edu, .org, .mil, .gov, .us, .tv, .info, a whole bunch of them out there. A lot. Orgs, everything else. And you're going to notice that when you plug in your domain name that you want, that the .com is going to cost about $10 or $11 a year, and that .biz or .info or .tv is going to cost you 99 cents a year. And I know you're going to be, wow, what the hell does it matter? I'll take .tv for 99 cents a year. I'll save $10 a year. What I will tell you is always get a .com domain name. The reason for this is we went through the .com boom. We went through the .com bubble. We went through the .com bust. Everybody who makes money in computers is in the .com industry. .com, this is so ingrained in people's minds that they automatically write it even when they mean to go somewhere else. When I closed down my shop with all my employees, one of my employees went off to create his own company. And he was an idiot. I told him not to do this, but he went out and he got a .net name. And after a week, I kept emailing him. We needed to stay in communication. And I told him every time I go to his website or every time I went to email him, I automatically plugged in .com. We as humans simply plug in .com after the domain name, and we assume it's going to work. So what I will tell you is always, I don't care what else you do, get a .com name, because if you don't, people are still going to be plugging in .com, so they're going to be going to your competitors or God knows where. So whatever you do, do not get a .biz, a .org, a .info, don't get a .info, .tv, any of this, .mobi, get a .com domain name. Now the next thing is, you want to make that domain name as small as possible. Remember, most people are really horrible typers. So you want the domain name to be literally as short as possible because you want it easy to type out. I made a mistake once. One of my clients, I got them the domain name Industrial Electrical Solutions. It was like this big. Now everybody knew it. Everybody theoretically understood how to spell it. But when people actually went to send an email to these people, they always screwed it up because they had like 24 letters to get right in a row. So you always want to make it as short as possible and hopefully as catchy as possible. So EliTheComputerGuy.com, my domain name is a little long, but you can remember it, EliTheComputerGuy.com. If it was a bunch of different words, you might not. I have a friend of mine. Your domain name doesn't have to be the name of your company. He has a Ladybug Landscaping. His domain name is goodluckbug.com. It's short, it's sweet, it's easy to remember. Who do we go for to mow our lawns? Goodluckbug.com. It just makes sense. So you want it to be as short as possible and you want it to be as catchy as possible. The last thing with your domain name is, like I said in the beginning, you do not actually buy domain names. You really lease domain names. It's really complicated. We'll go into another class about it. All you have to remember is you only lease a domain name. So when you're going to buy, quote unquote, actually lease the domain name, you should be given a number of options for how long you want the domain name for. Anywhere from 1 to 10 years. What I tell everybody is for 10 years, it's only $100. Buy 10 years for your domain name. Because the issue is, if you forget about your domain name or you forget to pay for your domain name, After the expiration date, your domain name will go back to be leased by somebody else. I had this with my first company. I bought the domain name for a year because I was being cheap. I only wanted to pay $10. I didn't want to pay $100. Things got busy. I had personal issues. I had business issues. I wasn't thinking about it. I got a couple of emails from my hosting provider, but I would deal with them later. All of a sudden, my domain name expired, and some jackass in Iceland bought it. And my domain name, I no longer had access to it because it was gone. So business cards, stationery, websites, all of that suddenly went to some guy in Iceland. So what I would say, just buy it for 10 years. It's $100, but then you know that you have it for 10 years. Nobody can take it away from you for 10 years. Remember, your email and your website are some of the most important things that you have for branding, probably the most important things you have for branding for your company. So if you lost them, it'll do a lot of, for a $10 item per year, it can cost you, it can darn near cost you your business. So just remember, .com for the ending, that's what's called the suffix, not biz, not info, not any of that crap. Make it as short and as easy to remember as possible. thegoodluckbug.com, Eli the Computer Guy.com, iwantyourbusiness.com, iwantyourmoney.com. And when you do buy it for 10 years. I swear to God, I swear to you, I swear, don't buy it for one. If this is your real business, this is a real business, you buy it for 10 years. You can find the extra $90, I swear to you. So, yep. So that is your domain name. Now that you've leased your easy to spell, easy to remember .com domain name for 10 years, the next thing that you're going to have to buy is email service. Again, you're going to go into GoDaddy or oneandone.com, you're going to plug in the domain name. What will happen is you'll say, yes, I want this one. So you'll select that somehow. And then the next thing that'll come up is it'll say, what kind of email service do you want? All the hosting companies, they use slightly different software for their hosted email solutions, but at the end of the day, it's the same thing to you. So no matter what they really use for their back-end email solutions, it's about the same for you, except for one instance, and we'll go into that. What you should remember when you buy your email service is if you do not want to use their webmail application, so you go to, let's say, email.elithecomputerguy.com or email.cnn.com, and you go in and you go to their web application where you can compose email or receive email over the internet. If you want to use something like Outlook or Eudora or Lotus Notes, the one thing, and they should have it, they almost have to have it, is that you need POP3 or IMAP access. These are the services that allow email applications hosted on your desktop to pull email from the server down to the desktop. So if you want to use Outlook, then you have to have POP3 or IMAP access. If you simply want to use the webmail service, then you're fine, just use a webmail service, you don't need anything else. Now the difference between these two is with POP3, this service, what happens is, let's say you're using Outlook. When Outlook goes to receive email, it goes up to your web server, grabs all the email that's off your web server and pulls it down to your Outlook. So the only place that your email exists is in your Outlook on your desktop computer. So you can read it there, but that's the only place it exists. So it's either up at the server or down in your Outlook on your desktop computer. IMAP is a newer, what's called a protocol, which is better than POP3 because what it does is it synchronizes between the server and your desktop email application. So what will happen is Outlook will pull the email down from the server, but it will still keep a copy up there. And then when you send files, it will synchronize that you sent email messages to the server. So it synchronizes back and forth. Basically what you should remember is POP3 grabs your email and information and pulls it down. It's one way. IMAP is more of a synchronization. It goes both ways. The other type of email service that your provider may offer you now, GoDaddy or one-in-one, has its own class and is a little more complicated, but you should know it exists and you can buy it if you want. It's called Hosted Exchange. What Hosted Exchange does is there's something called an Exchange server that Microsoft creates that's used in large businesses or even some small businesses. And this is how email gets routed. So it allows you to share emails, it allows you to share calendars, it does a whole bunch of fancy stuff that the other email services don't do. What Hosted Exchange allows you to do is for, let's say, $10 a month, you get all the services of Exchange without having to have an Exchange server. It's great, it's wonderful, but this is more complicated. If you're a complete newbie, you should probably stay away from it for a little while. So basically all you do to get your email service is after you've purchased your domain name from the provider that you're going for, it will ask you what email service you would like. It'll say, it'll ask you how many mailboxes. So anywhere, it might say, you know, a $30 a year plan, you get 10 mailboxes with so much storage. For $50 a year, you get unlimited mailboxes with a certain amount of storage. It's up to you how that works. So you decide what email package you want and then you buy it. What will happen next in order for you to set up the email for your company to use is there will be an administrator interface. So once you've gone through the purchasing process to buy your email service, you go into the administrator console for the email service that you bought, and that's where you can plug in the names for the email addresses that you want. So I would plug in Eli at elithecomputerguy.com and I would say create account. I'll put a little password and say create account. Let's say you wanted help, you would do help at elithecomputerguy.com, do create account. Bob, your assistant, you would write Bob, type in the password, create account. So you would then go, after you've purchased a service, you then need to go into the administrator console for the email service and then add all of those domain names or the users. So Eli, help, Bob, etc. Every service is different, so you may have to play around with it a little bit, but that's the next step in the process is you go into the administrator console and then add the different users. So now that you have your really snazzy .com domain name and you have a few email addresses to go with it, the next option that will come up is website hosting. What this is the space on the internet where your website will actually reside. So you create all the website files and then this is the place where you upload them and put them on the internet. So if you want to put menus for your restaurant or the homepage for your construction company or whatnot, this is the place where all those files will get uploaded to. Generally, there are hosting companies offer you 3 different plans. There's some kind of economy, basic plan, a deluxe plan, and an unlimited plan. If you're watching this video, again, you just need to go probably for the lowest, and that would be the economy plan. When you buy these plans, you have a couple of options, and that's what differentiates the economy from the deluxe to the unlimited. One of those is how much storage you have on their web server. So the economy will normally have, let's say, 10 gigabytes of storage space. That's how much stuff you can upload onto their web server. You know, the deluxe may have 50 gigabytes of storage space, and then the unlimited, let's say, has 500 gigabytes of storage space. So this is the actual size of all the files that you're uploading to their web server. This would only matter if you're doing things maybe like this, where you're putting video files on the internet. If you're just, you're putting up your menu or some little homepage for a construction site, the economy plan, 10 gigabytes of storage is more than enough. The next part is the traffic that you're allowed. The traffic is the amount of data that gets uploaded or downloaded from your site. So every time somebody goes to your site, obviously they have to download the homepage. If you have videos, they have to download the videos. Well, however much data that is that all of your users bring down to them, that all gets added up and you have a quota. So again, if you're a small a small website, it's not going to matter. So for the economy plan, it'll probably be, let's say, 20 or 30 gigabytes of download that you're allowed, which is a lot. Again, if you're doing video files like this, it's not much, but if you're just doing small little pages, thousands of people can go, thousands and thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of people can go to your site, and you won't hit that quota. If you're doing video files, you need to maybe have something bigger. So you get the storage so far, you get the storage space on the web server, so you get 10 or 50 or 100 gigabytes of storage space, and then you get the traffic that you're allowed. The next thing you'll be offered is the choice of operating systems. So you may have heard of this, where there's Windows operating systems that you obviously know, and something called Linux operating systems. You get the choice of which kind of server you should have your website hosted on. I would suggest if you're a newbie, or you're a new person, you go with the Windows server. Linux is better than Windows in a lot of ways, but it's very, very picky on how you do things. So as a new person trying to put up a website for the first time, Windows is a lot more user-friendly than Linux is. So when it offers you what type of operating system you would like, just select Windows, you'll be happier. Linux is good, but it's more complicated, there can be more problems. So that's your web hosting. You get the amount of storage space up on the web, you get the amount of bandwidth, and then you get the type of operating system to select. Now that you have your web hosting, you need to get a website, obviously. Websites get a little complicated, and even building a basic website is a class to itself. If you need to get something up pretty quickly and easily, any of the providers that you're going with, again, GoDaddy or oneandone.com, they have some type of simple website builder that you can use. GoDaddy's is called Website Tonight. With them, it costs you a few dollars a month to use it. I'm not sure what One and One has, but they both have a little pretty easy to use way to build a website. So I would say if you don't know anything about websites, you just need to put something up for your company for a little while until you can either figure it out or hire a professional, then just use Website Tonight or whatever little starter website tools that your provider gives you. Again, they might cost you a few dollars, but they're really easy to use. You click on it, it opens up into something as easy as Word, and you type what you want, you put up a few pictures, and all of a sudden you have a website that anybody can get to. That's the easiest way to start out. If you're looking to build a website, we're going to have another class on that, how to build basic websites, or frankly, go out and get Website for Dummies. And in 300 easy-to-read pages, they can tell you how to build a website. You don't need any fancy, expensive tools. You may have heard that you need programs like Dreamweaver that cost $400 or $500. Frankly, you can build a website with Word if you wanted to. There are a lot of free website builders out there, but you have to understand how to use them before we get into that. So now that you've had the web hosting service, at this point, either upload your website if you know how to do it, hire somebody to put a website up for you, or if you want something simple, just select whatever option is provided by your hosting solution, and you should have a website up within a couple hours. Well, now you have your .com domain name, you have your email service, you have your web hosting, and you have a website. So you are now up on the internet. Next thing we should talk about is something called web analytics. What analytics are basically they're logging programs to show you how many visitors come to your site, what they do when they come to your site, where they came from, how did they find your site, so did they come from Google, did they come from Yahoo, did they come from a link on another website? This type of software is called web analytics. Now, every provider that you use, again, GoDaddy, One and One, whatever, they will have their own default web analytics that you can look at. So once you have your website up and running, go through and look for basically the web analytics. It'll say something like analytics. Click on that and you can see how many people are now coming to your website, because of course if you have a website up and running, you should see who's coming to it. The best web analytics that you should put on your website is something called Google Analytics. It's completely free by Google and does just about everything that the average user needs. Again, that goes into another class that we'll do at some point. But what you should remember is that the analytics software, the free software that comes with your web hosting, provides a lot of useful information about how many people are coming to your website, and you should use that. If you want to go and explore some more and get some more information about your visitors, the next thing that you would go to is Google Analytics. Go to analytics.google.com and you can get all the information from them. You create the account and they can tell you what to do next. Again, that's another class. But Web Analytics is the software that'll tell you who's coming to your site, what they're doing while they're there, and where they came from. And you really should take a look at that every once in a while. Okay, you've got your domain name, your email service, your web hosting. You understand how what web analytics are and that you should have to take a look at them to see who's coming to your site and what they're doing while they're there. So the next thing you need to do is promote your website and your email addresses. Well, the easiest way to do that is make sure these are on your business cards. So as soon as you get your email and your web server up and running, create new business cards with that information on it. Put that information on flyers. Do these type of things. These are the easiest ways to promote your business, and you'll receive a lot of benefits simply by doing simple things like that. Now, once you have a website, everybody thinks that, you know, thousands of users are going to come to their website through Google and they're just going to make millions of dollars. That's not how it works. Doing real web marketing is a very, very complicated and sometimes costly process. So I've said it a lot in this class, but I'll say it. That's another class. And that's a very complicated thing to get into, that at this point that you shouldn't even try. You can lose a lot of money really quickly trying to do web marketing if you don't know what you're doing. So now that you have your email, your domain name, and your website, make sure, put that information on your business cards today, put it on your flyers today. Make sure everybody knows that you have a website, that you have your new email addresses. That's the best first level of marketing that you can do. Web marketing, things like you'll have heard of Google AdWords, where your website can come up within the search results of Google, or your website can come in the little sidebars of some other websites. That type of stuff can be very effective, but there's a whole strategy to it, so you don't just want to throw your money down a pit. That's the other thing. Now that you have a website, I know people are going to come to you as Google professionals. They're going to say, give us $4,000 or $5,000 and we'll send traffic to your site. Until you take that next class, ignore them. After you take that next class, ignore them. If somebody walks in the door and wants $4,000 or $5,000 to drive traffic to your site, tell them to get the hell out. And you know what? Say a couple of swear words when you do, because they are ripping you off, I swear to you. Any of those Google professionals that walk in the door, tell them to keep on going. The only way these people are legitimate is if you go to a professional web design firm and then they have one of those people on their staff. So let's say they have 10 web designers and one person that does search marketing. They're fine, they're okay, they're good. They're doing what they should be doing. But if somebody just walks off the street from Yellow Pages or any of these other advertising venues and says, you know, we're Google specialists, you know, again, and I've seen this, I've had clients do this, give us $4,000 and we'll give you, you know, traffic to your website. Yeah, they give you traffic to your website, but it doesn't end in sales, so who cares? It's just $4,000 down the toilet. So The best thing for now, you have your website, you have your email address, put it on your business cards, put it on your flyers, put it on any normal advertising that you do. Don't get into web advertising yet. It's over your head. It's up here. You're down here. It's up here. So don't do web advertising. Just put all of this, your new information, onto your current advertising, and that'll be good for the moment. Okay, so now you're sold on having your own domain name, having your own website, having your own email. You've gone through, you've done all this stuff, you have your fancy little email address, but you're thinking, okay, I know I need the new email address and it makes me look a lot better for new clients, for new sales. But Eli, what am I gonna do? I mean, for 5 years or 10 years or 2 years, I've had this business up and running and I've been using my AOL.com email address or gmail.com or Hotmail. So I know for new clients, I need the new email address, but what am I going to do about all the old clients that already have my old email address? You know, I can't just stop that because then they won't know how to get to me. What you need to do is either through Outlook or through your new webmail service that you're using, there is a setting that allows you to pull an email from different accounts. It's different for all things, so just click help and figure out how to do it. But what it'll do, so with your new fancy email with your fancy domain name, that service can go out to Gmail or to Yahoo or to whatever, and it can pull the email into your new account. So everything sent to your old, gmail.com email account now gets pulled to your new fancy emailed account. At this point, you now pull in the emails and then you only send from your new account. So it goes to the old one, that gets pulled into the new one, and then you only send so that they start seeing that new domain name that you have. The next thing that you do is you go into the auto signature option. So whether you're using a webmail service or whether you're using Outlook, they all have them. What this does is this puts a little piece of text or a lot of text at the bottom of all your emails when you send them. So like if you receive an email from me, every single email I send, it says Eli Etherton, MCSE, MCP plus I, Eli the Computer Guy, yada yada yada, whatever piece of information I want under it. So for me it'll say, hey, go see my new video on getting your business online. Well, what you do is you put your name, your title, what company you're with, your phone number, your address, and all the normal stuff. And then at the end, with a lot of asterisks and things pointing to it, you say, please note my new email address. Please send all correspondence to my new email address, which is your new email address. And you put it in there, and then when you hit save, every time you send an email, it will have that at the bottom. And hopefully, unless your clients are complete idiots, some of them are, they'll see that and then they'll realize to send to the new email address. I normally tell businesses, keep your old email address for about 6 months after you've switched to the new email address. You can keep it longer, but if you keep it longer, then it kind of drags on. If you keep it shorter, it's just the normal business life cycle. Not everybody is going to realize that you have a new address. So 6 months is about the length of time you should have 2 email addresses up and running. So remember, set up your new email service to pull an email from your old service. Only send from your new email address, and then put an auto signature that tells everybody in the world when they receive an email from you that you have a new email address. You do those things and it's computers. It's not going to go perfect, but it'll go as smoothly as computer stuff goes. Well, that was a class on how to get your company onto the internet. We've gone over how to get your domain name. Remember to get an easy to remember, easy to spell .com domain name, and when you buy it, or quote unquote buy it, lease it, get it for 10 years. Don't get it for any less, it'll cost you about $100. Told you how to get email service, so you get your email service and then you go into the little administrator console and you can give yourself whatever email addresses you want at that point. So Eli, Bob, help at whatever your domain name is. They have different options when you buy that service. Like I say, they'll have an economy, a deluxe, and an unlimited. It really depends on what you want. They'll tell you how many mailboxes you can have, anywhere between 10 to unlimited, and then they'll tell you how much storage space you get total, so anywhere between 500 megabytes to unlimited again. Taught you about website hosting, so then you select your hosting plan. You select how much storage that you want. Again, the economy, the deluxe, or the unlimited. The one thing to remember with this, and I'm not joking, get Windows. Okay, I know a lot of die-hard people out there that are watching this are going to scream and say, no, Linux, you are going to get Linux. And I'm going to tell you, get Windows. It gets complicated, we can go into it in another class, but if you're watching this class, because you need to, get the Windows hosting solution. Don't get Linux. Don't. It'll cause you problems, I swear to God. So once you have your website hosting, remember to take a look at your web analytics. Analytics are what shows you who's coming to your site, what they're doing when they get there, how long, yada, yada, yada. If you feel daring, if you've gotten this all down, go and get Google Analytics. Again, it's a free tool and it'll give you a lot of information that you want. We went over marketing your new website and email address, and I will say this once, twice, and 500 times. Put your new website on your business cards, put your email address on your business cards, put it on your flyers, put it on the auto signature for your emails when you send them. Put your website and your new email address on all of your standard marketing material that you've already been using. At this point, do not get into web marketing, as in buying Google AdWords, paying some web marketer $4,000 to market your website. You don't know what's going on yet. I mean, that's just how it is. If you pay somebody $4,000 right now, you are literally just shoving it down the toilet. You might as well go to Disney World for the $4,000 because at least you'll have a good memory. At this point, don't even touch web marketing. Don't. I swear, please, don't. So now that you're not touching web marketing, then the final thing is switching over for your email accounts. Keep your old email account for at least 6 months. Remember to pull in all the email from that email account into your new email account, either using the webmail service provided by your hosting solution or using Outlook. Both ways can do it. Only send from your new email. It's kind of like an addiction. Don't send from the old email, because the longer you send from the old email, the more problems, the longer the whole process is going to take. So just go cold turkey. One day, whatever you do, just one day, just stop sending from the old email. Never send from it again. Only send from the new email. You do that, and then you put that auto signature at the end of every email that says, whatever your name and all that normal stuff, and then please note my new email. Put it in bold if you can, put it in all caps if you can, put little exclamation marks around it. Make sure everybody but a complete idiot would see it, and then realize that there is still a certain percentage of your clients that will still not see it. That is the smoothest way to do the email transition. Like I say, 6 months is just one of those good times. It's never going to go absolutely perfectly switching over an email account, but 6 months is long enough, but not too long. If you leave the email account out there forever, then it's going to be out there forever. If you cut it off before 6 months, then you might lose legitimate clients. So I hope you learned a lot. I hope you understand how to get your domain name, your email account, your website up and running, and we'll see you at the next class.